Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am back from my trip to Portland and it was amazing. I had a ton of fun. I got to meet up with Stephanie from Time to Read and Katie from The Book Wanderer, and it was so lovely to meet both of them in person, and they're exactly like they are on their channels, and we had so much fun just sort of catching up and talking about books and travel and all kinds of things. It was so much fun, and it's kind of like I want to meet booktubers everywhere I go now because it's just so much fun, and it was like I'd known them all my life, sort of, because we know each other through our channels, and it's such a weird thing, but still, it was so much fun, and thank you ladies for meeting up with me while I was out there. I really, really loved meeting you guys. So now what you guys are here for, of course, being a book lover and going to Portland means that I definitely made a trip or two or three to Powell's, and I got a few things. My fiance actually got quite a bit more than I did because we're both book people, and he likes a lot of science fiction authors that have like really huge lists of books that they have written, and he has a hard time finding them here, and so he bought a ton of stuff. And I might do like a what my husband bought. Did I call him my boyfriend? One day I will finally actually just call him husband. So my husband bought several books, and so if you guys want to see what he bought, if you're interested in that, let me know, and I could probably do a what my husband bought at Powell's haul. He won't get in front of the camera because he feels awkward, so I would be happy to do that if you guys want to see what he bought. But otherwise, this is what I got. I will start first of all with the one book I bought while I was in Portland that I did not buy at Powell's, and I actually bought that when we went to Bob's Red Mill, which, if you don't know what Bob's Red Mill is, it is a company who does that they do a lot of like grains, and I mean they have beans and granola and flours and sugar and everything. I mean basically every baking good that you could want they have, all kinds of hot cereal, oatmeal, everything, and I love them, and I've bought from them for years. And so while we were out there, we stopped by their like main store. We tried to go on the tour, but we were a little late, and they only do one tour a day, so we missed it, but we'll go back and we'll do it then. But anyway, so I bought the book that they had there, which is People Before Profit, and this is a book about how I think it was like on his 80th birthday or something, Bob Moore, who is Bob of Bob's Red Mill, gave the business to his employees, and it's talking about how just what that does to a company and sort of why he did it and that kind of thing. And I'm fascinated by this because I'm a very pro-labor person, and this is just such a unique thing that I don't think a lot of companies do, and he got a lot of flack for it, and I'm interested to just see how it all played out and to learn about it. Plus I just think he's wonderful. I have actually met him when I was in Portland doing my internship. We interviewed him for something that we did, and he and his wife were lovely, so I am just excited to read more about him and to read more about what it means to give your business to your employees. So now on to the things I bought at Powell's. I will start with the things that are not book related. The first is, of course, a mug. So I love getting mugs from the different bookstores that I go to. The only bookstore recently that I've been to that didn't get one was Parnassus because they were out of them, but it's in Nashville, so I will be back up there and I will get one eventually. But this is the one I got from Powell's. It says Powell's City of Books, and they had another one that I think is maybe more traditional looking, but I wasn't a big fan. It had like a wolf or something on it. But so I found this one down by the registers on the bottom floor, and I was very excited to get it. Yeah, so I have a new coffee mug in my ever-growing coffee mug collection. And then the other thing I bought was this game called Elevenses, something like that. I don't know. It's just like this hilarious card game about morning tea, and we love board games, card games, any kind of game that we can play with our friends, and this basically is that you are trying to have the best tea spread before the clock strikes 11, and it sounds hilarious, and I'm looking forward to playing it, so I picked that up. Okay, so The first book that I bought while I was there is one that I've been looking for so I can continue on reading the series, and that is The King's Shield by Sherwood Smith. They did not have the fourth book in the series. They only had the second one, the third one, and I've read the first and the second, and so I am excited to now have this so that I can move on in the series. And it now smells like bath bombs because we went to Lush while we were out there too, and when we shipped the books back, because we had to ship the books back because we did way too much shopping, and when we shipped the books back, my husband put the Lush bath bombs in with these, and one of them exploded, and now all of our books smell like bath bombs, which could be worse, so that's hilarious. But yeah, so I picked this one up. I also picked up The Magician's Assistant by Ann Patchett. Now, I have read this and I have talked about it, and I will link my Ann Patchett's fiction spotlight above. I have talked about this one, I have read it, but I do not own it, and I owned it at one point. I got rid of it back when I didn't really keep books, and now it is actually the only Ann Patchett book that I did not still own. And so I had been promising myself if I ever saw it with this cover, because I believe this is actually the UK cover, I don't know exactly, but it's the one that I think is the cutest, and so I promised myself if I saw it in this cover that I would pick it up. They had it, so I got it. So now I have all of her fiction books, and I own them all and have read them all, so yes, I was excited to finally get my hands on this edition. So I picked another book up on a whim on our first trip to Powell's, and that was Back Spring by Judith McCormick. I was actually looking at the Jill McCorkle books, and I didn't see anything I didn't already have, and I noticed this one, which has an incredible cover with like mushrooms and different fungi on it, and I just thought it was really cool looking, and then I read the back and I thought it was something I might like. It's basically like a marital drama and like sort of a family story, so it's about two people who, like, all these things are happening in their lives, and their marriage is sort of in trouble, and just how they're like dealing with it in their own way and what comes out of it. And so I find those kind of stories interesting, and I thought the cover was stunning, and so I decided to pick it up. It's not a very long book, so that also contributed to me being like, all right, I'll buy it. So then I picked up one YA book, which was The Apothecary by Malloy, I don't know. I've tried to pronounce it to myself like 10 times or more, and I've yet to feel like I'm right. I should probably look it up. But this is actually the first book in a series. When I was walking around, I saw the third, it was either the third or the fourth book was on one of the end caps as like a staff recommendation, and the cover was beautiful. Are we seeing a theme here? I like beautiful covers, and they grabbed my attention. So sorry, sometimes I do judge a book by its cover. But basically I saw it, and so I went to look for the first book in the series, and I found it, and I thought the premise sounded interesting, and it's also got these really gorgeous illustrations, and like each chapter starts with a really cool illustration, and I was fascinated, and I've actually read more than half of it, and I'm really enjoying it. So it's about a girl who moves to London from LA in the 50s, and she's new, and so she ends up like sort of finding this one friend who is the son of an apothecary, and she gets sort of pulled into this crazy magical world that she and he didn't actually know existed. And the last two books are books that I had on my list that were actually recommendations from Stephanie from Time to Read, so it just worked out that I ended up getting them on this trip. And the first one is The Mapmaker's War, and I can't remember exactly what this is about. I remember her talking about it and me thinking that's right up my alley and I really want to read it. So I looked for it, found it used, and decided to pick it up. And the other is, of course, My Brilliant Friend, which is a book that Stephanie talks about often and adores and loves. And I'm going to be doing Booktuber Recommends this next year, which I should probably make a video about and also ask you guys for your recommendations. But this is my recommendation from Stephanie, so it'll be my first book in my to go into my Booktuber Recommends TBR jar, and I already have it, so that works out great. So those were all of the books that I picked up at Powell's while I was in Portland. I had so much fun, and I could have picked up so many more, but I held myself back because Christmas is right around the corner, and I knew that I had asked for some books for Christmas and that my mom really wanted to get me some books, and I also knew that I was going to have to either ship them back or carry them back in my luggage if I bought too many, so I didn't go overboard, which is probably for the best because I have so many books to read anyways. But yes, so I would love to hear if you have read any of these, which ones you liked or didn't like, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye!